carry on and you... Oh, wait a minute, as far as that'll go.
Is that as far as that'll go?
Yeah. Where were we? What were we talking about now?
Ready?
Yeah.
Farms are all about tractors, but they're not really about tractors at all. Okay, right, so it's 131.50. Okay, right, there you are. Keep that. So, those two added together, 26 quid, Tobias. Right, plus 18. Yeah. Plus 150.
Fish pies.
I think she's got 13 here. And then two lots of the burger night, which I didn't have. How much were you charging for them?
Was it 7 or 7.50? No, 7 I think was the most expensive thing all week.
21.
I could find that in here.
Plus 21. And mind you, you've got to consider that two of them steak pies was theirs.
Yeah.
You know, and the banoffee pie was theirs.
Yeah.
What do you say, Tobias?
You owe 50 to have it.
That's what I said. I owe that plus some
Banoffee pies are going to be pre-ordered if I do them again.
And Nicholson's side delivery rate is what it is, or a hay turner, or both really, I suppose. Made by Nicholson's and Newark, as it says on there. But when that was bought for this farm, and my father's uncle bought it new, I think probably just after the war, when things started moving again after the war. But he had a tractor drawbar fitted, but the seat would have originally bolted on there, and you'd have had shafts for horses. But basically, the thing as it goes along is driven by a gearbox, so that these things, although I was tied up at the moment with that tilt on it, but these turn like that, gather up the hay and push it to one side. I do keep it roughly tied up. And he came to me for some wheat. He wanted to plant wheat. He got Squarehead Master, which is an old variety of wheat, which is red coloured. And
Type of second boat as well.
what, Squarehead Master?
Well,
Oh yeah. And you don't really want to film it.
but it was that was what it was named after. It was first solo circumnavigation.
France's Somebody Francis or Francis somebody?
Yeah, the explorer.
Yeah.
Randolph Fiennes.
No, Ranulph.
Randolph Fiennes. and then the other guy. The second guy. Who won the first round of the world yacht race.
Francis Chichester.
Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, that's his name.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather like this Massey Harris binder, which is under another heap of brambles. But, you know, they're not scrap. I bought them at auctions cheap. And for spare parts, because we use binders, you know. And beyond that is a couple of wheels that don't belong to me. They're I don't know what they are. They're probably wheels off a portable steam engine. But never mind, we've had a rain now, and you can see they're coming through. For us and for anybody who wants them, really. But the blinking hares get them, you see. So that one's a nice one. Then you're supposed to, you know, that one will have to come out. Them two will come out. I'll leave that one, take that one out. So I mean, I've got there with a hand hoe, and we'll leave them about 18 inches apart. Well, I think it'll carry on. I think it'll just carry on as it is. I mean, when you go to events like the Cereals event, which I think is this year in Wendy in Cambridgeshire, I haven't made my mind up. It's next week or the week after. I haven't made my mind up if I'm going or not. But the machinery is compared to 10 years ago, is vast. I don't think machinery can get that much bigger. But in order to use machinery like that, and to pay for machinery like that, you've really got to farm on a large scale. I think the smaller farmer will survive. I mean, the way I survive, or the way we survive, is having this niche market of thatching straw. We only live in half the house, and the bit that's where the front door is 1902. And that's kind of, 1902. But the bit to the left is timber framed, and we think that's about 16 something. And the bit we don't live in, which you can't see from here, is 15 something by estimation. We're currently doing an archaeological sort of survey on it. We've got a little bit of a dig going on inside the house. Prior to us maybe doing something with it, but the trouble is we can't afford to do anything with it, really. It's just so we really only have sort of 2.5 bedrooms, you know. Well, I'm chairman of the local history group here, the South Ellerman District Local History Group, but that's really what that means is I'm interested in history, and I always have been. And we have a medieval site down at the other end of the farm, and I think we wanted to know the relationship between this house and a property or a house that would have once stood at the other end of the farm. The pottery dates from something like 12th century up to 17th century, which means that probably this house and that house down there stood together, you know, I mean, at the same time, for a short period of time anyway. In this section of the house, because there was no foundations much to it, and there was this blinking tunnel, which the dog could run up. I mean, about 30 years ago we discovered a culvert, I suppose, or a small tunnel under the house just to the left of the front door, and we could see that it went, there's a brick arch thing, we could see it went right under the house and through to the other end. Let's get some light on the subject, Tobias. I can't see what I'm doing either. I thought he was going to get here straight away without a lot of... I mean, the house is in rough order, and we need to spend a few thousand, which we can afford. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's always the case, and you sort of think to yourself, oh, I'm going. That's it. Yeah, brilliant. But I mean, you know, basically it's a timber framed house. And here we go. Let's see, there we are. There you see the light. You know, there's the thing there. It comes from where we've just seen and passes presumably under the brick floor of the house here. So that's a little archaeological dig. We had a little dig down and investigated that. And because this, basically the floor, like all buildings of this type, is earth or clay with sand on the top, and the floor bricks, of course, the pavements, are laid directly on the sand, which is, you know, the traditional way of building. But it seems that this is the line of the old ditch. Come on, my man. He's a good boy. Come on, Gordon. Come on. Well, this is Gordon. He's about 6 now, Gordon is. And he's a little terrier. And what he is, he's a, I suppose you'd call him I think he's a Lakeland cross Jack Russell or something. No, he isn't. What is he? A Lakeland cross border with a little bit of Jack Russell in him. And his great passion is catching rats. But you don't see many rats really, but he's good at rat catching when the time comes. Rats, where's them rats? Where are those rats? Over there, where's those rats? It's a long time consuming job because neither of us have that much time to devote to it, but I think it'll be alright to give it a couple of years and we should know what the hell we're doing, you know. Well, we've got a few chickens. We've only got 6 of them. They're all young. Pullets, really. What's the matter with that dog growling? I suppose he's growling at his toy. Yeah, he's a rum dog, isn't he? And the fox got all the chickens last year except for about 2. Then somebody gave us 3 chicks in the winter time, which we more or less had to rear. The tenons are gone on the end of the choice. And now we've got to build a new chicken run. You can see here that the wood is completely eaten away by deathwatch beetle. Because that's sapwood. I mean the heartwood, you can see that's the edge of a tree here on this one. So there, and what, maybe 100 years ago they supported it with a bit of 3x2 along the side. So even then they realised there was a major problem. But what we're going to do is replace them, and I've got an oak tree, a dead oak tree that was, well, it's dead about 12 years. Then we cut it down. We're going to plank it up, and we're going to make it into the right dimensions and use them with a bit of luck. And I think, I suppose we're not, as I say, we're not well off, and but we are in the fact that we've got the sort of place that people like to come and see. The birds are singing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wood pigeons and rooks. And, I don't recognise them all.
They hired men with his side so sharp to cut him off at the knee. They rolled him and tied him by the waist and served him most barbarously. They hired men with the sharp pitchforks who pricked him to the heart, and the loader he served him worse than that, for he bound him to the cart. They wheeled him round and round the field till they came unto a barn. And there they made a solemn mow of poor John Barleycorn. They hired men with their crabtree sticks to cut him skin from bone. And the miller he served him worse than that, for he ground him between two stones. Here's little Sir John in a nut-bound bowl, and brandy in a glass.
I think the farm pays for itself, you know, and it keeps. I mean, Tobias doesn't get much out of it. He should do, really. That's a bit of a job, but you don't starve, do you? But Sue, my wife, goes out to work, and I think if she didn't go out to work, we'd really be stuck. I think. Well, we'd have to work harder. Yeah. You know, I mean, I think the thing is, it's a balance. I mean, I think her skills are better at what she does, and she can earn more money with her skills, which is, which is something that she's more skilled at. Because farming is a bit more physical, isn't it, you know. So, I mean, she used to work, you know, when we were younger. She didn't go out to work at all, and the farm, it did keep us before Tobias was born. And, you know, my father was alive, and so if you like, it kept us all. But then as farm incomes dropped and the cost of living got greater, it was, you know, we found it, you know, it was, well, she got a job part-time to start with, and that kept us at about the right level, and then eventually she had to work nearly full-time. So that's the way things have gone, you know. The smaller farmer will survive. I mean, the way I survive, or the way we survive, is having this niche market of thatching straw. We were thrashing this stack of wheat, and this old thatcher came up and he said, "I'll buy the straw off you," because it was difficult to get. Nobody in the mid-70s really was growing thatching straw for the thatching market. Very few, and the thatchers were finding it very difficult. And it was like, I wouldn't say it was like dollar signs in Mickey Mouse, you know, but it was like, ooh, there's a market here. So we looked into it a bit more, and started using older varieties. But in you know, I mean, really old. I mean, the Squarehead Master we're growing, like through here, was first selected in 1888. I've been led to believe, not bred but selected, which is, you know, because they crossbreed a bit sometimes by themselves. And then we got hold of other varieties like Maris Widgeon, which is a 60s variety but still tall enough and well favoured by the thatcher, and N59, which is got different characteristics, still quite tall but very stiff straw. Some thatchers prefer that. But at the time we were growing Aquila, Huntsman. You know, there's thousands of varieties of wheat. You know, I've just acquired another one. I've just got a few seeds, 50 seeds of a very old variety from the 1800s, and we're growing that on in a plot.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll multiply that up, and hopefully I'll be the only one in the country growing it. I hope so, you know. But I think that's the thing. That'll do. Tight. Yeah, tight. But I'll be back by tomorrow morning.
Three men came out of the west, their fortunes for to try. And these three men made a solemn vow, John Barleycorn should die. They ploughed, they sowed, they harrowed him in, cords upon his head. And these three men made a solemn vow, John barleycorn was dead. Then they let him lie for a very long time, so the rain from heaven did fall. Then little Sir John sprang up his head and soon amazed them all. They left him stand till midsummer, till he looked both pale and wan. And little Sir John, he crowed a long beard, and so became a man. They hired men with their scythes so sharp to cut him off at the knee. They rolled him and tied him by the waist and served him most barbarously. They hired men with their sharp pitchforks who pricked him to the heart. And the loader he served him worse than that, for he bound him to the cart. They wheeled him round and around the field till he came unto a barn. And there they made a solemn mow with poor John Barleycorn. They hired men with their crabtree sticks to cut him skin from bone. And the miller he served him worse than that, for he crowned him between two stones. Here's little Sir John in a nut brown bowl, and brandy in a glass. And little Sir John in the nut brown bowl proved the stronger man at last. And the huntsman he can't hunt the fox, nor so loudly blow his horn. And the tinker he can't mend kettles or pots without a little of barleycorn.
She said that he only ate sandwiches.
How the hell does she know that? I love sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's the staple diet, I think. No, I mean at night, you know, we might have a cooked meal, mightn't we?
Taken over the
Sandwiches
pier
are good,
and
though.
watered
Oh, I love
on the
them.
naves yesterday.
Very practical.
She says she's never seen anything like it before. It was like a cartoon. What causes it?